Hello again, Mia-san. It's Hisako. Hey, I wanted to do a quick video to talk about something not geisha related, but just something I think a lot of people deal with, especially if you like to go to, anime conventions and things like that. I wanted to talk about anxiety. We all get anxiety from time to time. It's very normal. I definitely get anxiety. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how I've started to overcome that a little bit, and also my tips and tricks for dealing with anxiety, which work for me. It may not work for you, but you can try them and hopefully they will help. You can always reference my video if you want, if you need to reference those tips and tricks as well. So to start a little bit about my own anxiety. So I definitely get anxiety, especially when I dress up. It's gotten better over the years, but when I was younger, when I first started doing like cosplay and stuff, I think I was like, 25 or 26 when I first started cosplaying, so I kind of got started in it a little bit later in life. Because I always had a fascination with dressing up. I loved doing different looks and costumes and things, and I really wanted to be able to, go out and do stuff like that. And when I moved to Houston, because I came from a small town in Michigan where we didn't really have things like that, we just had Halloween. When I moved to Houston, it was like, oh, there's Japan Festival and anime conventions and all these things, and oh, I can dress up. And I was so excited, but I was also terrified, because it's like when you go out in a costume, it's like, oh no, everyone can see me, and which is silly to think, but it is a thought you have, and you want to go and you want to have fun, but you're also like, I'm terrified of everybody here. And that's a very, very normal feeling. I still occasionally struggle with that at times. So it can be hard, but I've slowly over the years have gotten better, and I've had to push myself. A lot of it is having to push yourself outside your comfort zone, which is hard. It's hard to do. But once you get past that hump and you start feeling like the progress of that, it is so rewarding and so freeing. It's like, I can do anything now. You feel very like empowered. But yeah, I used to get terrified. And again, I still sometimes do. I get like lightheaded, I get sweaty, I start breathing heavier. I struggle with things like nausea when I get stressed or scared or anxious. In addition to that, I'm also an emetophobic. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up, but basically being afraid of being physically sick. So anytime you get nausea, it's just like, oh, that makes my anxiety worse. And it's just this snowball that just gets worse and worse. And it can be debilitating at times. But like I said, I've gotten a lot better about it. Again, putting yourself out there, reminding yourself that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you could stay home because of your anxiety, and there's no fault in that. If you're like, hey, I can't bring myself to do this today, then yeah, absolutely, stay at home where you feel safe and comfortable. But you also miss out on things when you don't, push yourself to go and go have fun. Like, you'll see your friends, you'll get to dress up, there's events you can go to, things you can see, foods to try, whatever, a whole world that you don't get to see if you don't go past your front door. And I've definitely missed out on events in the past because it was like, I'm too scared, I can't do it. But I've gotten better. But yeah, some of the things that I do to try and help with my anxiety, which again, I still struggle with sometimes. And like I said, these may work for you, they work for me. First one being breathing. Breathing helps a lot. I do a lot of breathing exercises. I have two in particular that I find really helpful. I have the 4-4-4 count, as I call it, which is not new. This is a very common one. But I will breathe in through my nose for 4 counts, hold that breath for 4 counts, and then breathe out for 4 counts. And I keep doing this as much as I need to, just 4-4-4 again and again. And what that does is it actually helps slow down your heart rate, and it gives your brain something to focus on. Because a big part of anxiety is you almost have to trick your brain into focusing on something else, so it sort of starts to forget about the anxiety it was so focused on. You know what I mean? So when you focused on that breathing, that's kind of starting to get your brain to reroute, like, okay, we got to just keep count, instead of thinking about, oh, I'm scared right now, So the 4-4-4 count is one that I do. I also have another breathing technique I do that I don't know if there's a name for this, but it's something I do. I will take a dig. I trip on my words a lot. I'm sorry. I will take a deep breath and I will hold it for a second. And then I let the breath go, but I almost have, like in my throat, I sort of kind of take my throat and keep closing it as I let the air out. So it's kind of this like vibration that gets created. I'll try to get a little closer so you can hear. It sounds a little silly, but I swear to God this works. It helps me so much. You breathe in, and then you almost feel like this like tapping in your chest and your throat area, but mostly here it's just like a, and I don't know why, but I feel like that calms me like super fast. I do that a lot, and if you're quiet, people can't hear you doing it. But it almost feels like you're just getting this little tap on your chest, and it feels very comforting, I guess. So I find that to be an incredibly helpful breathwork thing that I like to do. And you know, breathe out as long as you can handle, and then once you're comfortable, breathe in again and repeat the process. So that is a huge breathing exercise that I really like. I also like to find a quiet space to do these things, whatever, you know, breath work or anything that helps my anxiety. Find a quiet space, which when you're at a convention, there's tons of quiet spaces. I love hallways where there's nothing going on. They don't have any events going on in those hallways. There's no people there. I love bathrooms, especially bathrooms that are in quiet areas that are not being frequently used. There's not as many people. If you need to go outside, get some fresh air, especially if the weather's not too hot. Go outside to a quiet spot, get some fresh air so you can center yourself. Fresh air is a big one. It also helps if you're feeling like claustrophobic, like you're just like, oh, everything's closing in on me. Try to get outside if you can so you can be in an open space and get some fresh air, because that does help as well. So quietness. Also, make sure you sip water. That's very important. I was surprised at how quickly your body uses up water just being terrified. So make sure you stay hydrated. That's a big part of it. Even if you don't feel well, even if your stomach hurts, make sure get like a bottle of water or bring one with you if you can, and keep sipping the water, just little by little, just little sips as much as you can handle. Just try to stay hydrated as much as you can. That is a huge part of it. Yeah, staying hydrated. Try to eat something if you can. If you're like me and you're emetophobic and you avoid eating because you're terrified, which I totally get, you still have to try and eat something. So I like to bring things like little dried biscuits or crackers. Those are easy on my stomach. Or you can get like a little bag of like dried fruit, like dried cranberries or raisins, or something light and snacky that you can easily keep in your bag but is easy on your stomach, so you can't overdo it. Or nuts. Nuts are a great way to do that as well, but just try to keep snacking on things when you can so you don't lose blood sugar and get tired or dizzy or any of these other feelings that can be associated with that. So definitely try to eat if you can. I also have little apps on my phone that I like to play. My favorite one is by a maker, and I'm sure you can find it in the Android store. I found it in the App Store, but it's by Jindoblu. And it's called like the anti-stress app or something. It's a really benign name, but it's by Jindoblu. It's just a bunch of these fidget games where you do things like wash a window, mow a lawn, throw darts at a board, like put a ball in a cup. Like, it's like such mundane little things. That thing, I love that thing. That was worth every penny. I think I way back when downloaded like the extra games you could get on it for like $1, and I love it. It's super good at like keeping me distracted so that I don't focus on how I'm feeling anxious. It gives me something to focus on. And there's little games in there too that are kind of fun as well, like little card games and stuff like that. So highly recommend little like fidget apps on your phone or actual fidget devices. Those are really great. Yeah, I mean, that's about it, I think, for the most part. Oh, the other thing I do, and I kind of do this more at home, but you can bring this with you if you want. I actually have like a little journal or a notepad that I bring with me, and I find it comforting to start writing in it. I particularly like to write in cursive because it makes me focus more, because you're focusing on all the little curves and stuff. I just start making lists of everything. It doesn't even matter what it is. It's like the days of the month, different kinds of gemstones. I practice my calligraphy or whatever, list of my favorite restaurants, list of places I want to go, whatever. Just make lists. Because again, it causes your brain to have to focus on trying to figure out how many things you want in your list and trying to think instead of focusing on the anxiety part itself. So that is a big thing I like to do, is if I have my notepad or my pen with me, I will just start making random lists of random things because it just helps me. So yeah, that's a little bit about some of the things that I do to help with my anxiety. Again, these may not work for you, or you may have your other techniques or whatever that may work. Some people find medication helpful for the anxiety. I don't personally. I have tried medications in the past, but I felt like they just kind of made me feel loopy, not very in control, and that wasn't something that I really liked, so I prefer not to use medications. But if you do, there is no fault with that, completely understandable. You have to do what's right for you. But yeah, try some of my tips and tricks and see if that may help you with some of your anxiety. Again, if you see me at an event, please don't be afraid to come up and say hello. I know people are shy, but if you're feeling anxious, trust me, I'm probably feeling just as anxious as you. I totally get it, and you can always come and talk to me if you're feeling anxious, and we can work through it together if you want. So, and I can try some of those techniques with you and see if that helps for you. But yeah, absolutely, don't let anxiety stop you from going out and having fun, because I used to, and I hated that I did that. And I've gotten so much better about it, and now I'm at the point where I can go to an event and I can walk in there and I'm like, you know what, I'm confident, because I didn't used to be. Especially dressing up in something like this where people will absolutely see you and want to come up to you. Yeah, sometimes that's scary. But I love what I do and I wouldn't have it any other way, and I don't want something like anxiety stopping me from reaching my absolute best potential, because I know there's so much out there to enjoy, and I want to be able to do that without anxiety keeping a hold on me from preventing me from doing that. So absolutely 100% go for it. And the more you do this, the more you put yourself out there, you will get past it. It does get better, because I used to think the same thing. Oh, I'll never get past this. But I've had so much progress. So don't give up, keep trying. You will make progress. So I hope that those are some helpful tips for you. But if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to share your own tips for anxiety, absolutely share them below and we can all talk about it. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Arigatou gozaimasu.